What exactly are we saying this is, though?
It's a fucking unicorn.
So I saw Death of a Unicorn starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, and this is a horror comedy about unicorns killing people. And that's kind of what drew me to the movie. There's a scene in Cabin in the Woods where a unicorn kills somebody, and it's awesome. And it's like one of the greatest scenes in the movie. And I was like, man, I would love an entire movie of that. I saw the trailers for this movie, and I liked the cast, and it seemed like it would be a fun vibe, so I gave it a shot, and I'm here to talk about it. Without spoilers, at first, I will say that this movie does deliver on the premise. There are plenty of unicorn kills in the movie, so if you've ever wanted to see unicorns, stab people and split them in half, and in this movie, they're portrayed as gigantic, hulking, monstrous beasts, but also still beautiful and elegant in their own way. It depends on how you treat them. Now, based on the title of this movie and the premise, the film knows exactly what it is. It's not trying to be anything more. It's not trying to deliver an Academy Award worthy presentation here. This is a movie about a family that's stuck together in a mansion while unicorns try to kill them. And it embraces that. The general setup of the beginning of this movie is that Paul Rudd is the father of Jenna Ortega's character, and they are going on a trip for this big business meeting that hopefully he can strike a deal so that he can start making some good money to provide for her. Their mother passed away. And on a trip up into this mansion in the woods where he's going to meet up with these pharmaceutical heads, he accidentally runs over an animal on the road, but that animal happens to be a unicorn. Do you ever have that moment where you accidentally hit an animal and they're not dead and you have to put them out of their misery? The scene here with that, I gotta say, it got me right away. Like, I laughed. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if this scene was intentionally meant to be funny, but the way that Paul Rudd handles it was just hilarious to me. I do think that Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega had pretty good chemistry back and forth, but I think the most fun aspect of this movie to me is when they make it to the mansion, because this family of rich people that live there, they are the most eccentric and over the top. Basically, every character has their own individual quirk, and they play into that 100%. These are not meant to be fully fleshed out, fully realized characters. They're meant to be ridiculous characters that slowly get killed off one by one. You have the pharmaceutical leader that is obsessed with wealth and power. You have his son, which was my favorite character in the entire movie, played by Will Poulter. And he was the character that made me laugh the most. This guy is just like coked out of his mind. He's like that standard, typical rich kid that's lived this luxurious life his entire life, and he like thinks he's the shit. He wears these super short white shorts that are like well up above his knees. He's got an answer for everything. He's always like, he's trying to be the business guy. He's trying to give the right answer to every single thing. Every time somebody makes a point that's in his favor, he's like, yep, it's that. Like, he's just that guy. He's like, yo, come chill in the hot tub with me. Like, he's just, I don't know how to explain it until you see the movie, but Will Poulter, definitely the best character far and away. The only character that really made me laugh a lot. Like, the things that made me laugh in this movie were not the dialogue and not really the interactions, other than Will Poulter's character. And then the other things that made me laugh were the over-the-top kill scenes, which are admittedly pretty great. But not to spoil the entire movie, but just to give you a little bit more explanation as to what's going on here. Unicorns are, of course, magical. It's not just a horse with a horn. They have magical properties to them, including their blood being able to heal you in a way that seems like this great new biological discovery that, of course, the pharmaceutical heads want to profit off of. So there's that. There's also moments of the horn being used. It's like grounded up into powder, and Will Poulter snorts it like cocaine. But the unicorn that they hit on the road happens to be the baby unicorn. And there are two adult unicorns, the mother and father, that come looking for it. And there are scenes that are actually very reminiscent of in the Lost World, Jurassic Park, where they have the baby T-Rex and there's like the two T-Rexes outside of the trailer. I don't know if that was intentional, but there's literally a scene that's almost exactly like that. And I don't mind getting Jurassic Park vibes from a movie, at least a good Jurassic Park movie. So I was pretty excited to see that. It doesn't shy away with the kills. It is an R-rated movie. So, you know, you got unicorn horns going into people, ripping them apart. So it gives you the gore and carnage that you want to see. My only gripe with that is that I just wanted a little bit more scenes of the carnage, I guess. And I think the main issue is that this is a lower budget movie and they are using CGI for the majority of these unicorns. And the CGI does not look the best. And I think they probably tried to utilize it to the best of their ability and not have the unicorns on screen as much as a way to probably save the budget for them. The CGI, you know, it's tolerable for this kind of movie. Like, I'm not going to judge it too hard because we're getting a killer unicorn movie in theaters, so with starring Paul Rudd. So like, I'm not going to criticize it too much because I'm sure they were limited with their resources, but because of that, it does leave you wanting a little bit more, like a little bit more of the unicorn action. Jenna Ortega, of course, is great here. She's the only one that really gives a fully emotional performance because she's the one kind of figuring out what the unicorns really are and trying to stop all of this before it starts. And of course, you're dealing with, you know, this kind of a strange relationship of the single father trying to take care of her. And she does have legitimately some good emotional scenes with Paul Rudd. And it's fun to see Paul Rudd in a movie like this, too. He's way better. He's come a long way as far as being in horror movies because I will always remember him from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That was his first movie, his first leading role at least. And he's so terrible in it. So it's nice to see all these years later, he's back in a horror movie. And he's actually doing a pretty good job. I would say that this movie is going to be for you if this is what you want. If you want absurdity, if you want characters that are just complete stereotypes, most of them there to get killed off. You got some humorous moments. You got some gore. So it's going to give you something to enjoy. And since there's not really a lot of things out in theaters right now to enjoy, you can go see Snow White if you want to, or you could go see Death of a Unicorn, which is original and by a first-time director. And I do want to say this. What is the director's name? I had this pulled up. Alex Sharfman. I don't know anything about this guy. This is his first fully directed film. So again, I don't want to critique it too harshly on that, but you could definitely tell, I guess, that this is a first-time film. There are moments in this movie where I felt like the momentum needed to be enhanced. I don't know if this is going to make any sense to anybody out there, but I feel like this is the kind of movie that needed like Edgar Wright energy, you know, just that quick cut comedy editing of Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz. I feel like this movie could have used that. Like in the hands of like Edgar Wright, I think this movie would be just as funny as some of his other films. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but there were times where I just feel like you needed to be quicker. Like the editing needed to help the comedy, whereas opposed to how it is in the actual film. There's some scenes that kind of linger that just like there's funny things that happen and then it just kind of like, yeah, exposition, things are, you know, happening, but the movie needed a faster pace. All right, that's what I'm saying. For like the energy and intensity and comedy that is on display here, I think the movie needed to be faster paced. There's also something about this movie that is not just a critique of this movie, but of just modern movies in general. It's the scenes that take place at night. And I complained about this in the Wolfman review. I've complained about this in modern movies in general. I don't know why we have forgotten how to light night scenes. I mean, I don't know how to do it, but if you look at movies that take place in the 80s and the 90s, there are scenes that are at night, but it's well lit. You can see everything that's happening. For some reason, in recent times, probably in the last like 5 to 10 years, every scene that takes place at night is so goddamn dark that you can hardly see anything that's happening on the screen. And part of me wonders, like, is this happening because I'm just getting old and my night vision is terrible? Which it is. But I also think no, because I look at older movies and they're able to shoot scenes at night that actually are well lit, that you can tell everything that's going on. And there are times in movies where you want it to be dark to build up the suspense that the audience can't see, but it just feels so common. And it was in every night scene in this movie. It wasn't just like one sequence. It was every time it was at night outdoors. It was just so damn dark. And like, I don't know. I feel like this is such a common thing in movies now, and it's driving me nuts. Like, why can't we see characters in the dark anymore? But anyways, if you're looking for something to do this weekend at the movies, I mean, it's a funny premise. It's got good kills. Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, and most particularly Will Poulter are great in this movie. It's a fun, I think it's like 90 minutes. You know, it's just a fun 90-minute movie that you can enjoy, and definitely does have gore. Like I said, this is R-rated, and it doesn't shy away from the kills. So if you want to see unicorns killing people, it's probably the only movie that's going to give you that this year. Anyways, guys, if you've seen it, let me know what you think of Death of a Unicorn down below. Leave all your thoughts and opinions. As always, guys, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up and a comment to help it out in the algorithm. And if you want to support the channel on a deeper level, which I would really, really appreciate it if you did so, I have a Patreon, channel memberships, and all the social media links. You can follow me down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time.